didn't find this audiobook by accident. The awakening has begun, and the mirror of truth is opening before you. This is not knowledge to be learned. It is a power to be remembered. The Reality Code. Introduction. In the depths of time, ancient sages whispered of a power so fundamental, so intrinsic to the fabric of existence, that its simplicity masked its magnificence. This wisdom has threaded through centuries, carried in scrolls, songs, and sacred texts. Yet its essence remains unchanged, waiting to be rediscovered by those ready to receive it. The universe operates through immutable laws, as constant as the rising sun and as reliable as the changing tides. These laws respond not to what you want, but to what you are. Your desires may reach toward the heavens, but it is your being that moves mountains. Think of the countless hours spent in pursuit of manifestation, the vision boards carefully crafted, the affirmations diligently repeated, the meditations faithfully practiced. Yet something has been missing, hasn't it? A bridge between effort and achievement, between intention and manifestation. That bridge lies in 2 words you speak every day. 2 words so familiar, you've forgotten their power. 2 words that shape your reality more profoundly than any technique or practice. These words are not magical incantations from distant lands or secret formulas hidden in ancient temples. They are simpler than that and far more powerful. What you hold now is not merely a book, it is a key to remembering. As you turn these chapters, you will recognize truths that have dwelled in your soul since before time itself. This recognition will not come as learning, but as remembering, a deep knowing awakening from its slumber. The path ahead is not about acquiring new knowledge, but about stripping away the layers that have hidden your innate power. It is about reclaiming the authority that has always been yours. The universe awaits your remembrance, ready to respond not to what you do, but to who you declare yourself to be. Let these words sink into your being. Feel their resonance with something ancient within you. The time for seeking is over. The time for remembering has begun. Part 1. The Awakening, the Mirror Opens. Chapter 1. The Code Beckons. In a sun-dappled attic where dust motes danced like ancient memories, Eleanor discovered a leather-bound journal tucked behind generations of forgotten treasures. Its chapters, yellowed by time, bore script in a language she had never seen. Yet as her fingers traced the unfamiliar symbols, something stirred within her. A recognition deeper than thought, older than memory. The words, though foreign to her eyes, spoke directly to her soul. Each evening she would sit by her window, the journal open in her lap, feeling rather than reading its message. And in those quiet moments, a truth began to surface, one that had always lived within her, waiting to be remembered. You too carry such wisdom within you. That persistent whisper that there must be more, that gentle tugging toward something greater. These are not mere wishful thinking. They are the first stirrings of an ancient power awakening from its slumber. This feeling of recognition when truth presents itself, this sense of remembering rather than learning, these are signs that your soul is beginning to recall its inherent wisdom. The universe has placed within each being a compass that points toward their highest expression. When teachings resonate deeply, when wisdom feels like coming home, You are not discovering something new. You are remembering what your soul has always known. As Eleanor continued her evening ritual with the journal, strange things began to occur. Without fully understanding why, she found herself speaking words that seemed to rise from the depths of her being. Though she did not know their meaning, these utterances carried power. Plants in her garden grew more vibrant. Lost items appeared mysteriously. Old wounds began to heal. The very air around her seemed to shimmer with possibility. Each word she spoke became a key, unlocking doors she hadn't known existed. Her world began to shift, not in dramatic ways, but in subtle adjustments that spoke of deeper transformations taking place. Reality itself seemed to respond to her readiness to remember. When you acknowledge the stirring within you, when you honor that pull toward greater understanding, you begin to vibrate at a different frequency. Your very being sends ripples through the fabric of existence, and the universe responds in kind. This is not manifestation through force or will, but through alignment with what has always been true. Now, as the day draws to a close, create a sacred space for yourself. Light a candle if you wish, or simply sit in peaceful silence. Take up your pen and allow your soul to speak through your hand. Write down everything you feel called toward, every whispered dream, every subtle urging, every inexplicable knowing. Do not question or judge what flows onto the page. These are the voices of your soul's remembrance, speaking truths that have waited lifetimes to be acknowledged. Chapter 2. The Mirror Speaks. In the bustling streets of a city awakening to the jazz age, Walter Matthews adjusted his tie and rehearsed his sales pitch before entering yet another shop. His life followed a predictable rhythm, town to town, door to door, rejection after rejection. Until that peculiar morning when, straightening his collar in a hotel mirror, he stumbled and struck his head against the glass. The mirror didn't shatter. Instead, something far more extraordinary occurred. As Walter steadied himself, he heard his own thoughts echoing in the room. "You'll never make this sale. You're not good enough. Who would listen to you?" The voice was his own, yet hearing these familiar thoughts aloud transformed them. For the first time, Walter truly heard the words he had been speaking to himself for years. You see, the universe operates as a grand mirror, reflecting back precisely what you project. Each thought you harbor, each belief you hold, creates ripples in the fabric of reality. These ripples return to you as experiences, circumstances, and encounters that match your inner dialogue. When you declare, "I can't," the universe responds, "as you wish." When you proclaim, "I am unworthy," reality arranges itself to confirm this belief. This is not punishment. It is a perfect reflection. Walter spent weeks trying to change his outer actions. He bought new suits, memorized better pitches, even altered his route. Yet success remained elusive. One evening, gazing into another hotel mirror, he watched his lips form the words, "I'm just not cut out for this." At that moment, he understood. His actions were merely ripples on the surface. The current beneath ran far deeper. The next morning, Walter stood before the mirror and spoke new words. "I am capable. I understand what people need. I serve with value." At first, these declarations felt false, like ill-fitting clothes. But as days passed, something shifted. His posture straightened. His voice carried new authority. Customers began to listen differently. Sales followed naturally. Not because he had learned new techniques, but because he had altered the source of his reflection. You see, the world you experience is not happening to you. It is responding to you. Every circumstance, every interaction, every outcome mirrors back your deepest held beliefs about yourself and what is possible. Change begins not with external actions, but with the words you speak to yourself in your most private moments. Now, find a mirror. Stand before it in solitude. Listen to the words that usually echo silently within your mind. Speak them aloud. Hear how they sound in your own voice. Which of these words serve the person you are becoming? Which ones belong to an old reflection you've outgrown? Choose new words that align with your true nature. Speak them with conviction. Let them become your new reflection. For as you transform your inner dialogue, the mirror of life will shift to match your new identity. Chapter 3. The Two Words. In the corner of an abandoned classroom where dust motes danced in the afternoon light, a weathered chalkboard held a secret that would transform understanding of the universe's most fundamental law. You hold within you the same power that Clara discovered that day. As she traced her fingers over the faded words, "I am," something ancient stirred in her soul. These two words, so simple yet sacred, form the foundation of all creation. They are the bridge between thought and manifestation, between potential and reality. When you speak "I am," you invoke the creative force of the universe itself. These words are not mere grammar. They are an incantation, a declaration that shapes the very fabric of your existence. What follows these two words becomes more than description. It becomes definition. Each time you utter "I am," you cast ripples through the quantum field of infinite possibility. The universe does not judge your declarations. It simply responds with perfect precision to what you claim as your identity. When Clara whispered, "I am afraid," to her reflection each morning, life orchestrated circumstances to validate this truth. Her students seemed more challenging, her colleagues more intimidating, her dreams more distant. But as she stood before that ancient chalkboard, something shifted. With trembling fingers, she picked up a piece of chalk and wrote, "I am learning." The words felt different, lighter, more spacious. They allowed room for growth, for possibility, for transformation. In the days that followed, Clara noticed subtle changes. When a student struggled instead of feeling overwhelmed, she found herself curious about new teaching approaches. When faced with challenges, she no longer saw them as threats, but as opportunities for growth. The universe responded to her new identity with experiences that matched this evolving truth. You see, "I am" is not just a statement. It is a command to the cosmic forces that shape reality. Every time you complete this phrase, you are programming the matrix of existence. "I am blessed" creates a different vibrational frequency than "I am cursed." "I am abundant" generates a different energetic signature than "I am lacking." The power lies not in positive thinking, but in identity alignment. When you declare "I am," you are not describing what you see. You are decreeing what will be. The universe has no choice but to reorganize itself around your declarations. For these two words connect you directly to the creative force of all existence. Take your pen and paper. Write, "I am" 10 times. After each one, add a truth you choose to embody. Speak each statement aloud with the reverence it deserves. Feel the vibration of these words in your body. Let them reshape your energetic signature. For in these moments of sacred declaration, you are not merely making affirmations. You are activating the ancient power that has always resided within you. Chapter 4. The Gatekeeper Within. In the heart of an ancient village, where iron met flame and sparks danced like stars, lived a craftsman whose hands shaped metal but whose words shaped destiny. Each night, George would dream of an ornate gate, its metalwork more intricate than any he had forged, standing between him and a garden of infinite possibility. No key would turn its lock, no force could bend its hinges. You too stand before such a gate, though yours may wear a different face. Like George, you seek the key in the external world, in methods and techniques, in the approval of others. But the truth whispers from a deeper place. The gate exists within, and its keeper is your own subconscious mind. This faithful guardian does not respond to wishes or wants. It answers only to the authority of your declared identity. When George spoke, "I am just a simple blacksmith," the gate remained steadfast, its lock unmoved. His conscious desires for abundance and recognition fell upon deaf ears, for they could not override the power of these 3 words. The subconscious mind is literal in its interpretation and absolute in its execution. It does not distinguish between empowering declarations and limiting ones. It simply manifests the reality that matches your proclaimed identity. Each "I am" statement becomes a command, a blueprint that your deeper mind must follow. One evening, as George sat before his dying forge, he remembered the words of an old wanderer. The key is not metal, but meaning. At that moment, he understood. Rising from his bench, he spoke new words into the darkness. "I am a master craftsman. I am worthy of greatness. I am open to abundance." The words felt foreign at first, like ill-fitting garments. But George persisted, speaking to them with increasing conviction each day. Gradually, his work began to change. His hands moved with new confidence. His designs flowed with unprecedented creativity. Customers who once sought simple repairs now commissioned grand works of art. The gate in his dreams began to shimmer, its lock responding not to any physical key, but to the resonance of his transformed identity. The subconscious keeper recognized the authority in his voice, the alignment between his words and his essence. You hold this same power. Your subconscious awaits your commands, ready to unlock gates you may have thought forever sealed. But it requires more than casual affirmations or desperate pleas. It demands the authentic voice of your highest self, speaking truths you dare to embody. As you lay your head upon your pillow tonight, whisper 5 "I am" declarations. Let them be bold yet true, ambitious yet authentic. Repeat these sacred words for 7 nights, allowing them to sink deep into the soil of your subconscious mind. For it is here, in these quiet moments before sleep, that the keeper of the gate listens most intently, ready to unlock the reality that matches your chosen identity. Chapter 5. The Spell of Self. In the hushed corners of an ancient library where wisdom sleeps in leather-bound tomes, a truth awaits your discovery. Here dwelt Margaret, keeper of countless stories, yet unaware that she herself wielded the most powerful spell of all. You, like Margaret, speak incantations every day without knowing their power. Each "I am" that passes your lips is not mere description. It is pure magic, a command to the universe itself. When Margaret discovered a weathered grimoire hidden behind centuries of dust, its chapters revealed what you are now learning. Language is not a passive observer of reality, but its active creator. The book's chapters held no complex rituals, no exotic ingredients. Every spell began with two simple words: I am. Margaret's revelation mirrors your own journey of awakening. When she spoke, "I am overwhelmed," books would mysteriously scatter themselves across her desk. "I am behind" caused the library clock to race ahead inexplicably. These were not coincidences, but manifestations, the universe responding to her unconscious spells. As she studied the ancient text, Margaret began to understand what you must now grasp. Every "I am" statement is a spell of identity. Each declaration shapes the energetic container of your existence. When you say "I am tired," you are not describing your state. You are commanding exhaustion into being. When you declare "I am stuck," you are not observing your circumstance. You are enchanting yourself into stagnation. One quiet evening, Margaret began experimenting with her newfound knowledge. "I am efficient," she whispered, and watched as books seemed to organize themselves beneath her touch. "I am magnetic to solutions," she declared, and patrons began bringing her exactly what she needed before she asked. Your words carry this same creative force. They are not passive reflections of reality, but active shapers of your experience. Each "I am" declaration is a spell you cast upon your life, a vibration you send into the universe that must, by cosmic law, return to you manifested. The ancient practice passed down through this wisdom asks you to become conscious of your unconscious spells. Take your recording device, your modern grimoire, and speak aloud the "I am" statements that have shaped your reality until now. Listen to your own voice casting these spells. Then, with the same power, speak new declarations into existence. Transform "I am overwhelmed" into "I am masterfully balancing all aspects of my life." Let "I am stuck" become "I am flowing with infinite possibilities." Play these new spells back daily, letting their vibration reshape your energetic field. For in this practice lies a profound truth. The magic was never in the ancient book. It was, and always has been, in the voice that speaks, "I am." Chapter 6. The Architect of Echoes. In the heart of a bustling city, a young architect named Harrison stood before his latest design, watching it crumble, not in physical form, but in his mind's eye. Each blueprint he created carried an invisible flaw, a weakness that seemed to emerge from nowhere, yet originated from everywhere. You may recognize this pattern in your own life: creations that collapse before manifestation, dreams that dissolve despite your technical mastery. The source lies not in your skills, but in the ancestral echoes that shape your reality. Harrison's father, a failed builder, had unknowingly passed down more than his tools. "I am not meant for greatness," his father would mutter. "I am destined to fail." These words, absorbed in childhood, became the invisible architecture of Harrison's mind, the blueprint beneath his blueprints. Your present reality is built upon such echoes. Every "I am" spoken in your presence during your formative years became a foundation stone in your consciousness. These declarations, whether whispered in defeat or shouted in anger, continue to resonate through time, shaping your current experience. One evening, while reviewing his father's old journals, Harrison discovered something remarkable. Between the chapters of technical drawings lay his father's daily thoughts, a litany of self-defeat disguised as self-description. In that moment, Harrison understood that he had inherited not just a profession, but a pattern of identity. Through conscious awareness, you too can uncover these inherited "I am" statements that silently direct your life's construction. They are not your truth. They are echoes waiting to be transformed. Harrison began his reconstruction from within. Each morning, before touching his drafting table, he would speak new truths. I am a masterful creator. I am structurally sound in all I build. I am the architect of lasting beauty. Gradually, his designs began to stand stronger, not just on paper, but in reality. The power to reshape these echoes lies in your present-day speech. Each new "I am" declaration creates a ripple that can override the old frequencies. Your words today build the architecture of your tomorrow. To begin this sacred reconstruction of your reality, sit in quietude and trace the patterns of your 3 most persistent challenges. Behind each struggle lies an "I am" declaration, perhaps spoken by another, now echoing through your life. Write these inherited statements down. Feel their resonance. Then, with the authority of your own voice, speak new truths to replace them. Let each morning become a foundation-laying ceremony. Speak your chosen "I am" declarations with the precision of an architect and the power of a creator. For in this practice, you rebuild not just your identity, but the very structure of your experience. Chapter 7. The Illusion of Willpower. In a small village, where the hum of sewing machines filled the air like whispered prayers, lived a seamstress named Ida. From dawn until dusk, her fingers danced across fabrics, creating beauty for others while her own dreams remained tightly folded, tucked away like remnants of precious silk. You may recognize yourself in Ida's story, giving endlessly while wondering why abundance remains elusive. The answer lies not in doing more, but in becoming more. One evening, as shadows lengthened across her workroom floor, an elderly woman appeared at Ida's door. Her presence carried the weight of ancient wisdom, her eyes reflecting knowledge beyond the physical realm. "Child," she said, watching Ida's tireless movements, "you sow abundance into others' lives while stitching lack into your own. The universal truth stands before you now. Your outer world will always mirror your inner declaration. No amount of effort can override the identity you claim. When you declare, 'I am struggling, I am barely making it,' the universe responds not to your actions, but to these proclamations." The elderly woman taught Ida a sacred practice. Before touching her sewing machine each morning, Ida was to stand before her mirror and speak words that aligned with her desired reality. "I am abundance in motion. I am prosperity embodied. I am success made manifest." At first, these words felt foreign on Ida's tongue, like trying to speak a language she had never learned. But gradually, something shifted. Her posture straightened. Her prices aligned with her worth. Clients who valued her artistry began appearing at her door. The transformation you seek begins with this same inner alignment. Your actions, however diligent, cannot outrun your self-concept. The universe responds not to what you do, but to who you proclaim yourself to be. As Ida embraced her new identity, her reality began to reshape itself. She noticed opportunities that had always existed, but remained invisible to her previous self-image. Her work remained excellent, but now it flowed from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. This ancient wisdom now beckons you. Each morning before engaging with the world, pause and ask yourself, who must I be to receive what I seek? Let the answer rise from your depths, not as a wish, but as a declaration of identity. Speak this truth aloud, beginning with those powerful words, I am. Feel each syllable resonate with your entire being. For in this practice lies the secret of true manifestation, becoming first what you wish to attract. Remember, the universe does not respond to your efforts alone, but to the harmony between your declared identity and your desired reality. When these align, manifestation becomes not a struggle, but a natural unfolding of who you have chosen to become. Begin each day with this sacred inquiry. Who must I be to receive what I seek? Write your answer as an I am statement. Speak it aloud with unwavering conviction. Let this be your morning ritual, your daily transformation into the self who naturally attracts your desires. Chapter 8. The Lie of Later. In a small garage at the edge of town where the scent of motor oil mingled with unfulfilled dreams, worked a mechanic named Frank. Each evening, as he wiped grease from his hands, he would mutter the same words. One day, I'll have my own shop. One day, I'll make it big. You see, Frank lived in tomorrow while life flowed through today. His talents remained hidden behind the veil of someday, a word that echoes through countless lives, postponing power that belongs in the present moment. One afternoon, a young girl wandered into his garage while her mother's car was being repaired. She sat on an old tire watching Frank work with curious eyes. "What are you doing?" she asked. "I'm just fixing cars for now," Frank replied. "But one day—" The child tilted her head. "Why not today?" In that moment, through the wisdom that only flows through the untainted perception of youth, Frank glimpsed a truth that had eluded him for decades. The universe knows no tomorrow. It responds only to the energy you emit now. Every time you say, "I will be," you push your desires further into an imaginary future that never arrives. Your power lies not in what you'll become, but in who you declare yourself to be in this moment. Frank began to shift his language. "I am becoming" replaced "I will be." "I am building my dream" took the place of "one day I'll have." As his words transformed, so did his reality. Customers began asking about his plans. A retired businessman offered mentorship. Opportunities that had always existed suddenly became visible. The second transformation came when Frank dared to declare, "I am a successful business owner," while still working in someone else's garage. Within weeks, a perfect location became available. His loan was approved. The universe responded not to his future plans, but to his present declaration. You hold this same power. When you declare, "I am becoming," you bridge the gap between now and your vision. When you dare to say, "I am," in alignment with your desires, you collapse time and bring tomorrow's energy into today's reality. The ancient practice beckons. Take each "I will be" statement that lives in your heart. Transform it first to "I am becoming," feeling the shift from distant future to present unfolding. Then, when your spirit is ready, dare to declare "I am," followed by the very essence of your desire. Let these words flow not from hope, but from knowing. For in the realm of spiritual law, your present declarations shape the reality that rushes to meet you. The universe responds not to your patience, but to your presence in the now. Replace every "I will be" with "I am becoming," or simply "I am." Speak your future self into your present language. Let your words bridge time itself, calling forth the reality that awaits your recognition of its presence. Chapter 9. The First Rewrite. In the dimly lit corner of a small jazz club, Dottie sat at her piano, fingers hovering above the keys. Night after night she played melodies that moved others to tears, yet her own words betrayed her. "I'm not really that good," she would say. "I just got lucky. I'll never play Carnegie Hall." Her casual remarks seemed harmless, yet they wove an invisible cage around her spirit. Your words are not mere descriptions. They are declarations to the universe. Each time you speak, you cast ripples through the fabric of creation. When Dottie said, "I'm not really that good," she wasn't being humble. She was programming her reality. The universe does not judge your words. It simply matches their vibration. The power to rewrite your story lies not in changing your circumstances, but in transforming your inner dialogue. Your daily speech creates the foundation upon which your future builds itself. When you say, "I am struggling," you anchor yourself to that experience. When you declare, "I am flourishing," you open channels for abundance to flow. One evening, as Dottie prepared for her performance, an old jazz master approached her. "Child," he said, "your music speaks truth, but your mouth speaks lies." His words struck her soul. That night, before touching the keys, she whispered, "I am brilliant in motion. I am a music incarnate." For the first time, her playing matched the greatness she had hidden within. In the weeks that followed, Dottie transformed her speech. "I am masterful" replaced "I'm not that good." "I am worthy of grand stages" dissolved "I'll never play Carnegie Hall." Her music began to soar, and opportunities once deemed impossible started appearing. Your reality shifts not when you achieve your goals, but when you align your speech with your soul's truth. The universe responds not to your desires, but to your declarations. Every "I am" statement is a seed planted in the garden of your experience. Sacred practice. Choose one area of your life you feel blocked in. Write 10 "I am" declarations that break the old script. Let each statement emerge from your highest truth. Speak them with the authority of one who knows their power. These are not affirmations to be repeated. They are commandments to be embodied. Your words are creating your tomorrow. Choose them with the reverence they deserve. Chapter 10. The Traveler's Choice. Along an ancient crossroads where dusty paths converged beneath towering oaks, Leo paused to rest his weary feet. The weight of his military pack matched the heaviness in his spirit. As twilight descended, two travelers approached from opposing directions. The first, wrapped in tattered gray, muttered continuously, "I am lost, I am broken, I am searching." His words seemed to dim the very air around him. The second walked tall in simple clothes, speaking with quiet certainty. "I am whole, I am guided, I am peace." Leo stood between them, feeling the stark contrast of their energies. Each word they spoke created ripples in the atmosphere like stones dropped in still water. Their identities were not merely descriptions. They were invocations of reality itself. Within you lies this same crossroads. Every moment presents a choice between the identities you can claim. Your words are not mere descriptions of who you are. They are declarations that shape who you become. When you say, "I am tired," or "I am strong," you are not describing your state. You are choosing which reality to step into. As night fell, Leo found himself drawn to the peaceful traveler's words. With each step alongside this stranger, Leo's own speech began to shift. "I am finding my way" replaced "I am lost." "I am healing" superseded "I am damaged." The very path seemed to illuminate before him as his words aligned with his deeper truth. This is the power that awaits in every moment. Your identity is not fixed. It is chosen again and again through the words you speak. The universe does not respond to what you want, but to who you declare yourself to be. When Leo chose to walk with the one who spoke of wholeness, he was not following a person. He was following a frequency of being. Your path transforms when you speak from your highest self, not your familiar wounds. The words you choose become the reality you experience. This is not positive thinking. It is identity alchemy. Practice. Every morning this week, declare out loud, "Today, I am the version of me who be." Fill in with power. Part 2. The Descent, Speaking with the Divine. Chapter 11. The Code Activates. In the depths of a misty morning, Beatrice, a widow who had not spoken above a whisper since her husband's passing, discovered an ancient wishing well. Its stones, worn smooth by centuries of prayers, stood sentinel in the overgrown grounds of an abandoned cathedral. Each morning, drawn by an inexplicable force, she would lean over its weathered edge and whisper, "I am," into its depths. The truth you must understand is that words spoken with sacred intent never truly fade. They continue resonating in the quantum field of creation, gathering momentum like ripples in an infinite pond. When you speak "I am" with conscious awareness, you activate a vibrational signature that the universe must match. This is not metaphor. It is universal law. Within the cathedral's forgotten walls, Beatrice's whispers found their power. "I am peace," she would say, and the well would hold her truth. "I am abundance," and the stones would vibrate with possibility. "I am loved," and the morning air would grow still with recognition. She did not know that the cathedral, though abandoned by people, remained a sacred amplifier of divine declaration. As days passed, something shifted in the air around her. Neighbors who had previously hurried past now stopped to share their garden's bounty. Strangers smiled as though greeting an old friend. Children brought her wildflowers, drawn to a light they couldn't name but could feel. Beatrice had changed nothing in her outer world. She had simply spoken a new self into being. What Beatrice discovered in that sacred space mirrors an eternal truth. When you align your words with the highest vision of yourself, the universe conspires to reflect that alignment. Your I am declarations are not mere affirmations. They are activations of specific frequencies that call forth corresponding realities. The power lies not in volume, but in resonance. Like Beatrice's whispers into the well, your words need not be loud to alter the fabric of creation. They need only be true, spoken from that place within where knowing resides. Sacred practice. As the sun rises each morning, place your hand over your heart. Feel its steady rhythm, the pulse of life itself. In this moment of connection, speak one I am declaration you wish to activate for the next 24 hours. Let this truth resonate through every cell of your being. The universe is listening. Chapter 12. The Temple of I Am. In the depths of an ancient chapel, Clifford's chisel struck something hollow. What began as routine restoration work revealed a hidden chamber that would transform his understanding of sacred speech. As he descended the narrow stone steps, thousands of inscriptions caught the light of his lantern, each beginning with the words, I am. The walls held centuries of declarations, etched by countless souls who understood the power of sacred speech. Some inscriptions were worn smooth by time. Others remained sharp as the day they were carved. Each mark represented a moment when someone chose to declare their truth in stone. Your body is such a temple, every cell inscribed with the words you speak about yourself. When you utter I am, you are not merely making a statement. You are performing an ancient ritual at the altar of your own being. These words carry the power to reshape the very foundation of your existence. Just as those pilgrims carved their declarations into sacred stone, your every I am statement etches itself into the living walls of your consciousness. This is not casual speech. It is a ceremony. It is an offering. It is prayer made manifest through the temple of your being. In the months that followed his discovery, Clifford began a practice that would alter not only his work, but the lives of countless others. Before laying the foundation of each new home, he would carefully inscribe powerful I am declarations into the cornerstone. I am abundance. I am peace. I am joy. He watched as families who moved into these homes seemed to flourish, their lives somehow aligned with the very declarations beneath their feet. One spring morning, Clifford visited a home he had built years earlier. The family that lived there spoke of inexplicable harmony, of prosperity that seemed to flow naturally, of peace that permeated their days. Standing in their garden, he smiled, knowing the power of the words laid in their foundation. Your words are like these cornerstones. They form the foundation upon which your reality builds itself. When you approach I am with reverence, when you treat each declaration as a sacred ceremony, the universe responds in kind. Your life becomes a temple, and your words become offerings that echo through the chambers of creation. Sacred practice. Choose a quiet corner of your home. Transform it into your personal temple of I am. Place a candle, a meaningful object, or simply let the space be bare. Each day enter this sacred space with reverence. Speak your chosen I am declarations aloud, knowing that each word is an offering placed upon the altar of your becoming. Let this daily practice remind you of the sacred power held within these two simple words. Chapter 13. Becoming the Code. In the days of old, a young violinist named Lucille discovered a silk ribbon in her grandmother's keepsake box. Upon closer inspection, she noticed delicate embroidery spelling out the words, "I am peace." Something stirred within her soul as she tied it around her wrist. Each time the ribbon brushed against her skin, it whispered its truth. Without conscious effort, her shoulders relaxed, her breath deepened, and a gentle calm emanated from her being. The transformation was subtle, yet unmistakable. Your identity shapes your reality not through force, but through resonance. When you declare "I am," you set in motion forces beyond mere thought or intention. The power lies not in believing the words, but in becoming them. Each "I am" declaration is a frequency your entire being must attune to. Your posture, your breath, your energy field all align with this sacred vibration. Most spend their lives trying to think their way into transformation. Yet the universe responds not to thought, but to state of being. When you embody your "I am," your entire electromagnetic field shifts. You become a living broadcast of that truth, and life has no choice but to mirror it back to you. As the weeks passed, Lucille prepared for the most important concert of her career. Yet instead of practicing harder or longer, she simply wore her ribbon and allowed its truth to permeate her being. The night of the performance arrived, and as she stepped onto the stage, something extraordinary occurred. Her violin sang not just notes, but pure presence. The audience sat transfixed, touched by something beyond music. Tears flowed freely, hearts opened wide, and when the final note faded, the silence held a sacred weight. People later spoke not of her technical skill, but of how they felt in her presence, as though peace itself had taken human form. You see, there are two ways of moving through life, from performance or from presence. Performance comes from doing. Presence comes from being. When you truly embody your "I am," you need not try to convince or impress. Your mere presence becomes a force of transformation. The ribbon taught Lucille what your soul already knows. Embodiment is the key. Let your chosen "I am" infuse every cell, every gesture, every breath. This is not about perfection. It is about permission to fully be. Sacred practice. Select one powerful "I am" statement that calls to your soul. Write it on a ribbon or paper and keep it with you today. Let it touch your skin, influence your posture, color your voice. Breathe it in with each breath. Move as though it is already true. This is not pretense. It is presence. Let your entire being become a living temple to this truth. Chapter 14. The Poverty Curse. In the bustling marketplace of a small town, Horace stood behind his grocery counter, mechanically counting the day's earnings. His weathered fingers moved through the bills as his lips unconsciously formed the familiar words, "I am just getting by." The phrase had become as natural to him as breathing, a daily ritual that seemed to confirm what he believed was his destined lot in life. One afternoon, his young daughter Emma played near the register with her toy cash box, mimicking her father's movements. But instead of echoing his words, she declared with pure innocence and joy, "I am rich." The words rang through the empty store like a bell of truth, stopping Horace in his tracks. Your relationship with abundance speaks through every word you utter. When you declare, "I am just getting by," you are not describing your circumstances. You are commanding them. These words become the invisible ceiling above your head, the unseen walls around your prosperity. They are not observations, but declarations that the universe must honor. The language of lack is a spell cast in reverse. It binds you not through external forces, but through the power of your own voice. Each time you speak of scarcity, you weave it deeper into your identity. The universe does not judge whether your words are true. It simply matches their vibration with unwavering precision. Days later, Horace stood before his mirror and spoke new words. "I am provision." At first, they felt foreign on his tongue, like a language he had forgotten. But as he continued, something shifted in his eyes. His shoulders straightened. His breath deepened. He was not asking for abundance. He was becoming it. Within weeks, unexpected opportunities began appearing. A supplier offered him exclusive rights to a popular product line. A neighboring store closed, sending their loyal customers to his shop. His income grew, but more importantly, his relationship with money transformed. He no longer grasped at it fearfully, but moved through it with grace. The truth reveals itself. Abundance is not a destination to reach, but a frequency to embody. When you declare, "I am provision," "I am abundance," "I am prosperity," you are not speaking to the world. You are speaking to the universal law that shapes it. Your words become the mold into which abundance naturally flows. Practice. Every time you spend or receive money this week, say aloud, "I am in abundance." Chapter 15. The Resistance Oracle. In the heart of a bustling wartime hospital, Nora moved between beds with practiced efficiency, whispering affirmations under her breath. "I am at peace. I am healing. I am abundant." Yet with each passing day, the chaos seemed to intensify, her desired reality slipping further away. One evening, as shells exploded in the distance, an elderly patient reached for her hand. "Child," he whispered, "why do you fight against what's showing you the way?" The core teaching emerges from this moment of grace. Resistance is not your enemy, it is your oracle. When life pushes back against your declarations, it speaks an ancient truth. Somewhere within you harbor an opposing "I am." These contradictions are not failures. They are maps leading to buried treasures of transformation. Your resistance holds prophecy. Each obstacle rises not to defeat you, but to reveal where your identity remains divided. When you declare, "I am abundance," yet encounter lack, the universe whispers, "Look deeper." What other "I am" still lives in your heart? In the quiet hours before dawn, Nora sat with her frustration, finally allowing it to speak. As she listened, tears fell as she heard her own voice. "I am not safe. I am powerless. I am small." These were the true affirmations she had been living by, echoes from childhood that still shaped her reality. With a trembling voice, she began to rewrite these hidden codes. I am protected. I am powerful. I am vast. The hospital walls seemed to pulse with new energy. Within days, supplies arrived unexpectedly. Patients healed more rapidly. Even the air felt charged with possibility. The message rings clear. Your obstacles are not opposing forces. They are loving guides pointing to where wholeness awaits. When manifestation stalls, celebrate. You are being shown precisely where your next liberation lies. Sacred practice. Sit in stillness with paper and pen, allowing your breath to settle into a natural rhythm. Write your 3 most persistent frustrations, those challenges that seem to follow you like faithful shadows. For each one, ask gently, what hidden I am created this reality? Let the answer rise naturally from the depths of your being, like a bubble ascending through still waters. Then speak aloud its opposite, not as a wish or a hope for the future, but as a declaration of your true nature that has always existed beneath the surface. Feel each new I am dissolve the old, like dawn erasing shadows, like sunlight melting frost. As you speak these words of power, notice how your body responds, how the very air around you seems to shift and realign with this higher truth. This is not merely an exercise, it is an awakening to your authentic self. Chapter 16. The Mundane Miracle. In a small workshop lined with timepieces, Dale sat at his bench each morning beginning the same way. As sunlight filtered through dusty windows, he would close his eyes and whisper, I am precision. Not as a mere ritual, but as a declaration of essence. You see, within these 3 words lay a power that transcends mere affirmation. When Dale aligned his speech with his craft, something extraordinary unfolded. His hands moved with increasing surety, each microscopic gear finding its place with perfect timing. Time itself seemed to bend around his workbench, flowing neither too fast nor too slow, but in perfect rhythm with his focused breath. The universe responds not to sporadic bursts of intention, but to the steady pulse of your being. Every moment carries the potential for alignment. As you wash dishes, drive to work, or answer emails, your words echo through the quantum field, creating ripples that shape your reality. Watch what happened as Dale continued his practice. Without advertising, without networking, clients began appearing at his door. They couldn't explain how they found him. They simply knew they had to bring their treasured timepieces to his care. His reputation for precision spread through channels invisible to the eye, but clear to the heart. This is the hidden truth. Your I am declarations are not confined to meditation cushions or sacred spaces. They weave through every breath, every gesture, every interaction. When you infuse ordinary moments with extraordinary presence, reality has no choice but to mirror your frequency. Dale's story teaches us that mastery comes not from compartmentalizing spiritual practice, but from allowing it to flow through all aspects of life. The way you make your morning coffee, the tone you use on the phone, the attention you give to tying your shoes, these are not mundane acts, but opportunities for energetic alignment. Sacred practice. Select one routine activity you perform daily. Perhaps it's brewing tea, watering plants, walking to your car, or folding laundry. Choose an I am statement that resonates with your highest vision, one that makes your soul stir with recognition of its truth. For 7 days, merge this declaration with your chosen action, allowing it to infuse every gesture with sacred intention. Let each movement become a living prayer, each moment a testament to your chosen identity. Feel how the simple act of mindfully stirring your coffee while holding the thought, "I am abundance," transforms a mundane morning ritual into an act of cosmic creation. Watch as the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary, and your entire reality begins to tick in perfect synchronicity with your truth. This practice bridges the gap between meditation and daily life, turning every moment into an opportunity for manifestation. Chapter 17. The Daily Rite. In the dim hours before dawn, when the world still slept, Edith struck a match. The flame caught the wick of a simple white candle, casting sacred shadows on her kitchen walls. In this quiet moment, before the factory whistle called, she created her own ceremony of becoming. The power of ritual lies not in complexity but in devotion. Each morning, as the candle's glow illuminated her face, Edith spoke 3 truths into existence. I am light, I am grace, I am abundant. These words, offered with reverence in the sacred space between night and day, began to weave a new pattern in the fabric of her reality. You see, transformation follows rhythm, not force. When you establish a daily ceremony of declaring your identity, you create a temple in time. This is not mere routine, it is spiritual alchemy. Each repetition deepens the groove of truth in your consciousness, until your very presence begins to radiate your chosen essence. As days passed, something shifted in the factory air around Edith. Her co-workers found themselves standing straighter near her workstation. Conversations became more purposeful, kinder. The harsh fluorescent lights seemed softer where she worked. No one could explain the change, but all felt it. The quiet power of someone who had remembered their true identity. This is the mystery of conscious identity. When you hold yourself in sacred regard, the world responds in kind. Not through striving or convincing, but through the natural law of resonance. Edith hadn't changed her job or her circumstances. She had changed her essence through daily devotion to truth. Your words, when spoken with reverence in the quiet moments of dawn, become seeds planted in fertile universal soil. They grow not through force, but through faithful tending. This is why ceremony matters. In the space between sleep and activity, between silence and noise, you have the power to reset your energetic signature. Sacred practice. Create your own 3-minute daily rite. Choose a quiet space and time, one that feels sacred and untouched by the world's chaos. Light a candle, watching how its flame dances in perfect stillness, and allow 3 deep, conscious breaths to center your presence. Feel each breath drawing you deeper into the eternal now. Then, with full awareness and reverence, speak 3 I am declarations that align with your highest truth. Let each word resonate through your being like ripples across still waters, touching every cell of your body with its divine vibration. This is not a race to manifestation. It is a remembrance of who you truly are, a gentle awakening to your sacred essence. Maintain this practice for 21 days, allowing your identity to root deeply in sacred soil, nourished by the timeless wisdom of your own divine nature. As you continue this ritual, you will find the boundary between the ordinary and extraordinary beginning to dissolve, revealing the profound truth that has always resided within. Chapter 18. The Alchemy of Doubt. In a small town where dust settled like prayers on windowsills, Stanley stood before his congregation, his collar tight against the rising doubt in his throat. Each Sunday, he spoke of divine truth while wrestling with his own shadows of unworthiness. Yet in this very tension lay a sacred teaching. Your power does not require perfect faith to flow. When you speak truth in the presence of doubt, you participate in the highest alchemy. It is not the absence of fear that makes your words powerful. It is your willingness to declare them anyway. One Sunday morning, as Stanley rose to speak, his legs betrayed him. He stumbled, fell to his knees before the gathered faithful. In that moment of exposure, when all his carefully constructed certainty crumbled, he made a choice that would alter the fabric of his reality. Instead of hiding his weakness, he spoke into it. I am carried. The words echoed through the chapel, not with the polished confidence of a preacher, but with the raw authenticity of a soul choosing truth in the midst of struggle. And in that declaration, something shifted. Stanley rose not by his own strength, but lifted by the very power he had named. This is the deeper mystery of the I Am code. It does not require you to eliminate doubt before speaking power. Your declarations of truth are not weakened by the trembling of your voice. In fact, when you choose to speak your highest identity while facing your deepest fears, you transform both. Think of doubt not as your enemy, but as the resistance that strengthens your spiritual muscles. Each time you declare I am in the face of uncertainty, you build a bridge between your current experience and your chosen truth. The power lies not in feeling ready, but in speaking anyway. When Stanley rose that day, his congregation witnessed not just a man standing up, but the living demonstration of truth transcending circumstance. His vulnerability became his authority, not because he conquered doubt, but because he chose truth in its presence. Sacred practice. When doubt surfaces, and it will, pause in that very moment. Feel the uncertainty, the fear, the hesitation fully. Then, without waiting for these feelings to pass, speak aloud. Even now, I am Fill this space with the truth you are choosing to embody, despite all evidence to the contrary. Let your voice carry both the trembling and the power. For it is in this holy conjunction of human doubt and divine declaration that the deepest transformation occurs. Chapter 19. Naming the Divine. In a hidden garden where morning mist carried whispers of ancient wisdom, Lillian knelt before her plants, understanding that names hold power beyond mere identification. Each dawn she moved through her sanctuary, speaking sacred titles to every growing thing, not their scientific classifications, but their spiritual essence. You too possess this power of sacred naming. When you bestow a name, you do more than describe. You invoke. You create a contract with the universe about how energy will flow through that which you have named. This is why the ancients guarded names so carefully, knowing that to name something is to define its place in the cosmic order. Lillian discovered this truth when she began calling her withering rose bush the teacher of patience. Within days, its stems strengthened, as if rising to meet the dignity of its new identity. She named her herb garden the Abundance Portal, and soon found herself giving away more bounty than she had ever grown before. But the deepest transformation came when she faced her lifelong companion, anxiety. For years she had called it her burden, her curse, her weakness. Then one morning, as sunlight filtered through leaves, she understood. With reverence in her voice, she renamed it the Awakener, acknowledging its role in keeping her conscious, present, and growing. From that moment, the energy shifted. What had once felt like an enemy became a sacred messenger. Each time her heart raced or her breath shortened, she would whisper, "Ah, the Awakener visits, bringing gifts of awareness." The power of anxiety didn't diminish. It transformed, becoming a tool for deeper presence rather than a source of suffering. This is the alchemy available to you now. Every circumstance, every challenge, every pattern in your life carries the name you have given it. These names are not mere labels, they are vibrational agreements. When you name your financial struggles the path of provision, or your solitude sacred preparation, you initiate a new contract with these energies. Sacred practice. Choose one challenge present in your life. Sit in silence until you feel its deeper purpose. Then bestow upon it a sacred name that honors its role in your evolution. Perhaps your illness becomes the temple builder, or your career setback becomes the freedom caller. Speak this new name aloud 3 times daily, with the reverence of one who understands that naming is not describing what is, it is calling forth what shall be. Chapter 20. The Embodiment Gate. In a small workshop filled with the scent of leather and the whispers of generations past, Harold bent over his workbench, meticulously crafting shoes as he had done for 30 years. "I'll try my best," he would say to each customer, his voice carrying the weight of perpetual uncertainty. You see, these words, "I'll try," are not mere expressions of humility. They are declarations of separation between you and your mastery. Each time you speak to them, you push your power into some distant future that never arrives. One morning, as golden light streamed through Harold's dusty windows, an elderly gentleman entered the shop, carrying a pair of shoes Harold had made decades ago. The leather, though worn, still held its shape with dignity. "You made these," the man said, not as a question, but as a statement of truth. "And they have carried me through 30 years of life." Harold began his usual response. "I try to—" "No," the man interrupted, his eyes bright with knowing. "You already are." At that moment, something shifted in the very air of the workshop. You see, recognition often comes from the outside, reflecting what has always been true within. The universe conspires to show you your own light through the mirrors of others. The core truth emerges. You do not come through endless attempts. You come through claiming what already exists within you. Every "I'll try" is a denial of your present power. Every "I am" is an acceptance of what has always been true. The next morning, Harold stood before his workbench and spoke words that changed everything. "I am a master of my craft," not as hope, not as aspiration, but as recognition. The words filled his workshop like incense, settling into every tool, every piece of leather, every stitch. That afternoon, a prestigious leather guild contacted him. They needed someone to mentor the next generation of craftsmen. They had heard of his work, not through advertising or self-promotion, but through the quiet excellence that speaks louder than words. Here lies the sacred truth. Embodiment is not a destination reached through perfect action. It is the moment your words and your energy become one. When you speak your truth not as something to achieve, but as something you already are, the universe responds not to your effort, but to your alignment. Sacred practice. Select one I am statement that calls to your soul. For the next 24 hours, let it guide your every choice. Before each decision, pause and ask yourself, what would this version of me do? Move through your day not as one striving to become, but as one who already is. Let your actions flow from this truth, and watch as reality reshapes itself around your embodied knowing. Part 3. The Mastery. Living as the Reality Code. Chapter 21. The Living Word. In a sunlit kitchen where morning light dances through crystal glasses, Florence, once celebrated for her voice that could fill opera houses, now performs her most powerful aria. Each dawn she stands before her antique tea set, inherited from generations of women who knew the sacred art of blessing. You know the power of words, how they shape reality like clay in the hands of consciousness. Yet, what you may not realize is that every substance, every molecule of matter, resonates with the frequency of your declarations. Your tea, your bread, your very sustenance awaits your blessing. Florence lifts her cup, steam rising like incense, and whispers, "I am radiant." The words ripple through the liquid, transforming ordinary tea into sacred elixir. This is not ritual for ritual's sake. It is the ancient practice of infusing matter with consciousness. Watch now as strangers on the street pause, drawn to something they cannot name. There's something about you, they say, these unknowing witnesses to the power of sacred speech. The glow they see is not from lotions or lights. It is your word made flesh, your declaration embodied. For too long, Florence waited in the wings of her own life, seeking validation from applause that faded with the final curtain. Now she understands. Radiance is not earned through performance, but claimed through presence. She no longer waits for the spotlight. She has become the light. You see, when you speak your "I am" with conscious intent, you are not describing what is, you are commanding what shall be. Every cell of your being attuned to this frequency. Every interaction becomes a stage for your chosen identity to express itself. Florence now moves through her days as a living testament to this truth. Her radiance precedes her, transforms rooms before she speaks, touches hearts before she sings. Not because she strives, but because she declares. This is your inheritance, the power to infuse the material world with your spiritual declaration. Every morsel you eat, every drop you drink can become a vehicle for your highest truth. Sacred practice. Before you consume your next meal or drink, hold it in your hands. Feel its substance waiting to be blessed by your consciousness. Speak your chosen "I am" into it, knowing that as you consume it, you take your declaration into every cell of your being. Let each sip, each bite become a holy communion with your highest self. Watch as your inner radiance becomes outer reality. Chapter 22. The New Name. In the depths of winter, when dreams speak their clearest truth, Alvin the tailor received a visitor in his sleep. The stranger, cloaked in light, spoke not in words, but in vibrations that resonated through Alvin's very essence. From these sacred frequencies emerged a name. one that defied earthly logic, yet sang with celestial certainty. You must understand that names carry more than mere sound. They are contracts with reality. The name you answer shapes the life that answers back. When you accept a new name, you accept a new destiny. Each time you declare, "I am," you are either reinforcing an old agreement or signing a new one with the universe. The names you've carried, given by family, society, or circumstance, may have served their purpose. But as consciousness expands, so must identity. Watch how Alvin begins whispering his new name in the quiet moments between customers. He tastes its syllables while threading needles, lets it pulse through his fingers as they guide fabric through his machine. He makes no announcement, seeks no validation. This is between him and the divine. And slowly, like dawn breaking over still waters, his world begins to shift. Clients request designs that align with his deeper gifts. Opportunities arrive that match his soul's new frequency. The universe, ever faithful to our declarations, orchestrates a symphony around his transformed identity. You see, when you receive a name from the depths of pure consciousness, you are being called into a higher expression of your being. This is not about rejection of what was, but evolution into what awaits. The old labels may still exist on paper, but your energy no longer answers to their summons. The name that finds you in sacred moments, whether in dreams, meditation, or sudden knowing, is your soul's recognition of itself. It may seem strange to logical minds, yet it resonates in chambers of truth that logic cannot enter. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Close your eyes and ask the universe to reveal your soul's true name. It may come as a word, a sound, or a feeling. Trust what arises. Write this name on a piece of paper and keep it close to your bed. Each night before sleep, whisper this name 3 times, allowing its vibration to reprogram your subconscious. Let this be your private covenant with the divine, a secret between you and the infinite wisdom that knows who you are becoming. Chapter 23. The Reality Tuner. In the heart of the city, where music whispers its secrets to those who listen deeply, Gloria discovered a truth that would transform not just her beloved jazz club, but the very fabric of her existence. Each evening, as she adjusted the sound system for her performers, she began to understand that she, too, was an instrument of frequencies. You are, in every moment, broadcasting a signal to the universe. Like a radio tower pulsing invisible waves into the night, your being emanates a frequency that determines what harmonizes with your life. This is not metaphor, it is law. When you declare, "I am," you are not merely speaking words. You are turning the dial of your spiritual radio. "I am stressed" tunes you to the station of struggle. "I am blessed" aligns you with abundance's frequency. The universe does not respond to your wishes or your wants. It responds to your wavelength. Watch how Gloria's understanding deepens. One evening, as rain drums against her club's windows and canceled reservations pile up, she closes her eyes. Instead of strategizing or worrying, she simply adjusts her inner dial. "I am flow," she whispers, allowing these words to vibrate through her cells. Within hours, her phone rings. On the line is an internationally acclaimed artist, one whose fee had always been far beyond her budget. "We had a cancellation," the manager explains. and something told us your club was the right place for tonight. This is not a coincidence. When you shift your frequency, you shift what can find you. Gloria didn't chase, negotiate, or manipulate. She simply turned herself to the station where such miracles play on repeat. You see, manifestation is not about forcing or fixing. It's about finding the frequency where your desires already exist and matching it with your being. Your words are the dial, your energy is the signal, and your life is the speaker through which it all plays. Sacred practice. Set an hourly reminder on your watch or phone. When it sounds, pause and ask yourself, what station am I currently tuned to? Notice the frequency of your thoughts, emotions, and most importantly, your I am declarations. Then, consciously turn your dial to a higher station with a new I am statement. Feel it resonate through your entire being. You are not changing your thoughts, you are changing your transmission. Let each tone of this new frequency ripple through your consciousness like waves across still water. Whether you declare, I am abundance, I am peace, or I am love, allow these vibrations to attune every cell of your body to this higher wavelength. Remember, just as a radio must maintain its connection to receive clear signals, your practice of conscious frequency adjustment throughout the day keeps you aligned with the universal broadcast of your desires. Chapter 24. Manifestation Without Trying. In a small town where doors lined quiet streets like patient sentinels, Ralph discovered a truth that would forever change how manifestation works. For decades, he had knocked on countless doors, believing that persistence alone would unlock his dreams. Yet the universe held a different lesson. You have been taught that achievement comes through constant pursuit, through knocking, asking, proving your worth. This is the great illusion. The door you seek is not before you. It is within you. When you shift from seeking to being, the world must rearrange itself to match your new frequency. Watch how this truth revealed itself to Ralph. One morning, rather than preparing his usual sales route, he sat quietly in his study. Instead of rehearsing his pitch, he simply declared, I am abundance in motion. He didn't leave his house that day. Yet before sunset, 3 phone calls arrived, each bearing an opportunity greater than any he had chased in years. The second morning, Ralph continued this practice of being rather than pursuing. He moved through his day as if success was already his constant companion. He spoke as someone who had already arrived. He carried himself with the quiet dignity of fulfillment. By week's end, his commission exceeded his previous month's earnings. This is not a story about luck or coincidence. It is a demonstration of universal law. When you cease knocking on doors and instead become the door through which abundance flows, life must respond accordingly. Ralph didn't manifest through effort. He manifested through alignment. You see, trying is a subtle form of resistance. It carries within it the energy of not yet, the vibration of separation from your desire. But when you shift into being, when you live as if your desire is already fulfilled, you transmit a frequency that the universe must match. Sacred practice. Choose one full day to drop all effort toward your desire. Instead of trying to make it happen, live as if it has already manifested. Move, speak, and breathe as the version of you who already has what you seek. Make choices from this place of fulfillment rather than seeking. Notice what doors open without you needing to knock. In this sacred practice of surrender, release the weight of wanting and striving. Let your shoulders relax, your breath deepen, and your mind rest in the knowing that what you desire is already yours in the invisible realm. When you meet others, carry yourself with the quiet confidence of one whose dreams have materialized. When faced with decisions, ask yourself, what would I choose if I already had everything I desire? Let this inner abundance guide your steps. As you move through your day, observe how the universe responds to your shifted energy. Watch as synchronicities unfold naturally, without force or manipulation. This is the ancient art of allowing, a practice known to mystics throughout the ages who understood that what we seek is already seeking us. Chapter 25. The Voice That Answers. In the heart of a bustling switchboard room, where voices crossed like threads in an infinite tapestry, Mildred discovered the sacred dialogue that exists between soul and universe. Each day, she connected countless strangers through copper wires and electrical pulses, never realizing she was about to witness a deeper form of communication. You have been speaking to the universe your entire life, though you may not have recognized its replies. Every "I am" you utter sends ripples through the fabric of creation, and creation always responds, not through thunderous proclamations, but through the whispers of synchronicity. For Mildred, the revelation began one morning when she declared, "I am divine timing." Within hours, the words appeared on a delivery truck passing her window. Later that day, a caller accidentally dialed the wrong number and spoke those exact words before realizing their mistake. By sunset, she heard the phrase in a street musician's song. The universe speaks in echoes of your declarations. When you proclaim your truth with spiritual authority, not as a wish, but as a knowing, the world transforms into a mirror, reflecting your words back through countless channels. A magazine headline catches your eye. A child says something profound. Numbers align. These are not coincidences. They are confirmation. Mildred began to see every moment as an opportunity for sacred dialogue. While connecting calls, she would silently declare, "I am abundance," and soon found herself connecting wealthy clients to lucrative opportunities that began flowing into her own life. She spoke, "I am peace," into her headset, and callers would spontaneously thank her for her calming presence. You see, the universe's language is not limited to words. It speaks through timing, through chance encounters, through the seemingly random details that suddenly align with perfect precision. But here is the key. It responds not to your wants, but to your declarations of being. When Mildred finally understood this, she transformed her switchboard into an altar of consciousness. Each connection became a prayer, each moment an opportunity to declare and receive. The world became alive with meaning. Every detail, carrying a message, meant precisely for her awakening. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment and write down one question that rises from the depths of your soul. Transform this question into an "I am" declaration and speak it aloud with reverence. For the next 48 hours, remain alert to your environment, to conversations, signs, songs, numbers, and coincidences. The universe will reply through the language of synchronicity. Record what you observe, for these are the sacred echoes of your own divine voice. Chapter 26. The Bridge Between Worlds. In the solitude of his lighthouse, Norman kept watch over two seas, one of water, one of dreams. Each night as the beacon swept across the darkness, he would witness visions that seemed to dance between sleep and reality. What he did not yet understand was that these realms were never truly separate. You stand now at a similar threshold between worlds. The boundary between inner and outer experience is far more permeable than you have been taught. Your declarations of "I am" do not merely echo in the physical world, they resonate across dimensions, shaping both the seen and unseen. Norman first noticed this truth when he dreamed of a red-sailed ship passing his lighthouse at dawn. Upon waking, he spoke the words, "I am the bridge between worlds," into the morning mist. That very evening, as the sun set, a vessel with crimson sails appeared on the horizon, exactly as he had seen in his dream. This is the deeper mystery of manifestation. Your words are created in multiple dimensions simultaneously. When you speak, "I am," you are not merely making a statement. You are weaving reality across the fabric of existence itself. The physical world you see is but the final expression of what has already been created in the unseen realms. As Norman continued his nighttime vigil, he learned to move consciously between these dimensions. No longer did he see his dreams as separate from his waking life. Each vision became a seed, each "I am" declaration a bridge between what was forming in spirit and what would manifest in form. One night, after declaring, "I am the light," he watched as the lighthouse beam seemed to extend beyond its physical reach, touching ships that were far beyond its normal range. The next day, sailors reported being guided by an unusually bright and far-reaching light, one that had led them safely through treacherous waters. You, too, possess this ability to walk between worlds. Your "I am" declarations are not bound by physical laws. They operate in the realm of pure potential before taking form in matter. This is why what you speak with conviction often appears first in dreams or intuitive flashes before manifesting in your tangible experience. Sacred practice. As you prepare for sleep tonight, sit in stillness and whisper your chosen "I am" declaration. See it taking form in your mind's eye, not as a wish or hope, but as a reality already existing in the unseen realm. Allow this vision to accompany you into your dreams. Upon waking, move through your day as though this truth has already manifested in the physical world. Your conscious movement between these dimensions will accelerate its emergence into form. Chapter 27. The Silence That Speaks. In the dimly lit theater, Esther stood center stage, her voice suddenly gone. For 20 years she had commanded audiences with her powerful delivery, but now, in the midst of rehearsal, silence claimed her completely. What emerged in that moment would transform not just her understanding of presence, but the very nature of how identity expresses itself. You may believe that your power lies in what you say, yet the universe responds not to your words alone, but to the energy you emanate. When Esther lost her voice, she discovered a truth that had always existed beneath her speeches and soliloquies. Presence speaks louder than proclamation. Standing in that enforced silence, Esther began to embody rather than announce her "I am." She carried "I am" grace in her posture, "I am" power in her gaze, "I am" truth in her stillness. To her astonishment, the audience at her next performance leaned in closer, more captivated by her silent presence than they had ever been by her loudest declarations. The secret lies in the space between words, in the energy that precedes speech. Your chosen identity radiates from every cell, every breath, every moment of being. It does not require a voice to vibrate truth into the field of creation. In the weeks that followed, Esther discovered that even her breath carried the frequency of her chosen I am. Each inhale drew in pure potential. Each exhale radiated her essence. Without speaking a word, she began to transform every room she entered. People would turn, drawn to something they couldn't explain, the silent resonance of her self-declaration. One evening, during a particularly moving scene, the entire theater fell into such profound silence that the collective breath of the audience synchronized with hers. In that moment, she understood. When you truly become your I am, you need not announce it. The universe already knows, and those around you feel it in their bones. This reveals the deepest truth of manifestation. Your energy speaks ceaselessly. Every molecule of your being broadcasts who you have chosen to be. Words can initiate this broadcast, but it is your energetic signature that sustains it. In silence, this signature becomes even more pristine, uncluttered by the noise of unnecessary speech. Sacred practice. Choose 1 hour today to move through your world in complete silence, holding a single I am declaration in your heart. Do not speak it, simply be it. Notice how others respond to your presence. Feel how your chosen identity radiates through your energy field, touching everything around you. This is the ultimate power of the I am, not in its speaking, but in its being. Chapter 28, Sacred Repetition. In a small town among ancient oaks, Frankie, a quiet poet, discovered a truth that would transform not just his life, but the lives of all who dwelled there. Each morning, as dawn painted the sky in gentle hues, he would walk to the oldest oak in the town square and carve the same sacred words. I am light. At first, passers-by paid little attention to this daily ritual. Yet as weeks turned to months, something began to shift in the very fabric of the town. The air seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly glow, and people found themselves drawn to the old oak, feeling a mysterious warmth emanate from its weathered bark. Your words, when repeated with unwavering devotion, create channels through which universal energy flows. Each declaration is not merely a repetition. It is a deepening. Like water flowing over stone, each utterance carves a more profound path for truth to travel. This is the sacred science of spiritual momentum. The power lies not in the novelty of your words, but in their faithful repetition. When you speak the same truth day after day, you are not merely saying, you are building. Each I am adds another layer to your energetic foundation, until what began as a whispered hope becomes an unshakable reality. In time, Frankie's presence in the town square became a symbol of something greater than himself. Children would stop their play to watch him perform his morning ritual. Elderly couples would sit nearby, basking in the peaceful energy that seemed to radiate from that spot. Yet Frankie never spoke of his practice, never explained his purpose. His dedication to the daily ritual spoke louder than any explanation could. What you repeat with reverence becomes your resonance. The town did not change because of Frankie's words. It changed because his unwavering devotion created a field of transformation. Each carved declaration added to the power of all that came before. until the very air vibrated with the truth he had faithfully inscribed. Practice. Choose one powerful "I am" declaration that resonates with your deepest truth and speak it aloud 10 times each day for 10 consecutive days. Let the words vibrate through your entire being as you speak them with conviction and faith. Watch carefully how your energy field begins to shift, how circumstances align differently around you, and how your consciousness expands to embody this new truth. The universe responds to sustained devotion. Your consistent practice will create ripples of transformation that extend far beyond the moments of speaking. Record your observations, for in witnessing these subtle changes, you strengthen your connection to the power of your word. Chapter 29. Becoming the Teaching. In the quiet dawn hours, Pearl would walk through the village streets, her steps gentle yet purposeful. Those who crossed her path felt something shift within them, not through words spoken, but through a presence that seemed to carry ancient wisdom. Through the misty morning, a young mother approached Pearl's cottage, seeking help with her difficult pregnancy. Pearl simply smiled, gestured to a chair, and continued brewing her morning tea. No advice was given, no techniques shared. Yet as the mother sat in Pearl's presence, her breathing naturally deepened, her shoulders relaxed, and her worried expression softened into peace. Your power lies not in what you teach others, but in what you have become. When you fully embody your chosen identity, your mere presence becomes a catalyst for transformation in others. Like a tuning fork that brings nearby instruments into harmony, your aligned vibration naturally elevates those around you. Day after day, women would gather at Pearl's garden gate, not to learn, but to be near her energy. They found themselves standing taller, breathing deeper, speaking with more authority. Pearl never once claimed to be wise or powerful. She simply lived in complete alignment with her inner truth. One autumn evening, a traveling doctor visited the village, amazed to find so many empowered, confident women. "Who taught them?" he asked the innkeeper. "Pearl," came the reply, "but she never speaks of such things." The doctor observed Pearl for 3 days, waiting to witness her methods. He saw only a woman going about her daily tasks with complete presence and peace. This is the highest teaching. When you fully inhabit your I am, you need not speak it. Your energy becomes the lesson. Your presence becomes the prayer. Your being becomes the bridge that helps others cross into their own power. The women who spent time with Pearl began to notice changes in their own lives. Their children became calmer, their marriages more harmonious, their work more fulfilling, not because Pearl had instructed them, but because they had absorbed a new way of being simply by sharing her space. You are not here to convince others of your power. You are here to embody it so completely that your presence alone awakens what lies dormant in them. This is the sacred art of transmission, when your identity is so aligned that it naturally elevates all it touches. Practice. Today, speak no affirmations aloud. Simply act, walk, breathe, and exist as your chosen I am. Let your presence teach. Move through your day with the quiet confidence of one who knows their true nature. Each gesture, each smile, each moment of silence carries the energy of your divine identity. Like Pearl, You need not explain or convince. Your very being becomes the lesson others unconsciously absorb. Trust in the magnetic power of embodied truth to transform all it touches. Chapter 30. You are the code. In a dimly lit workshop filled with half-finished inventions, Howard sat alone among his creations. Each machine, each innovation bore the whispered echo of words spoken decades ago by a child who knew no limits. I am Maker. Your journey through these sacred teachings reaches its apex here, in this moment of pure recognition. Like Howard, you have carried within you the very power you've sought. Every word you've spoken since childhood has been a brushstroke on the canvas of your reality. The universe does not respond to what you wish to become. It answers what you declare you are. This truth lies at the heart of all creation. You are not merely speaking words when you say, I am. You are activating the primary code of existence itself. In his workshop, Howard traced his fingers along the edges of his inventions, seeing for the first time how each one emerged not from technical skill alone, but from the unshakable identity he claimed as a child. His creations were not products of his mind. They were extensions of his being. One morning, after decades of solitude, Howard stood before his workshop door. The familiar weight of hesitation pressed against his chest. But this time, something had shifted. In that sacred moment, he spoke not from desire or intention, but from the depths of his essence. I am that I am. The words filled the air with ancient power. In speaking to them, Howard claimed not what he wished to be, but what he had always been. The door opened, and the world received him not as he feared it would, but as he declared himself to be. This truth now stands before you. You are not separate from the code. You are its source. Every I am you speak is not a petition to the universe, but a declaration of what already exists within you. The power was never in the seeking, it was in the remembering. Your sacred practice. Take a moment of pure silence. Let your breath settle into its natural rhythm. On a piece of paper you will keep close. Write the phrase, I am, followed by your highest truth in present tense. Frame these words. Keep them where you will see them daily. Speak them not as hope, but as law. For in these words lies the code of your becoming, the truth you have always been. Conclusion. Through these sacred chapters, you have awakened to a truth that has always lived within you. The power you sought in countless books and teachings was never separate from your own voice. Every I am you speak is a thread in the tapestry of creation, weaving reality according to your conscious declaration. Your journey does not end with this revelation. It begins anew with each breath, each word, each moment of presence. The ancient wisdom you've uncovered is not meant to sit idle on these chapters. It must live through you, pulse through your veins, and echo in every syllable you speak. From this day forward, treat each I am as a sacred offering to the universe, whether whispered in meditation or spoken amid daily tasks. Your words carry the power to reshape worlds. They are not mere statements, but divine declarations that ripple through the fabric of existence. Remember, the universe does not distinguish between casual speech and intentional prayer. Every I am is heard, every declaration honored. Choose your words with the reverence of one who knows their creative force. Let each statement align with the highest version of who you are becoming. You are no longer a seeker of transformation. You are transformation itself. Your presence alone is an I am statement, broadcasting your chosen frequency to all of creation. Even in silence, your energy speaks volumes. The world around you must reshape itself to match the truth you embody. As you close these chapters, know that you carry within you the most powerful force in existence, the ability to declare and become. The reality code is not a destination but a continuous unfolding, a moment-by-moment choice to speak your truth into being. Your voice is the bridge between potential and manifestation. Use it wisely. Use it consciously. Use it often. For in the sacred dance between your words and the universe's response, you author not just a new chapter, but an entirely new reality. The power has always been yours. Now you remember how to wield it. Your journey doesn't end here. Click on this next audiobook that I promise will completely transform your perspective.